Still almost 2 decades away from federation, a settlement of vast contrasts, incomparable wealth due to the gold rush, industrialisation and excruciating poverty, a disparity that was as unsettling as it was unsightly behind the sophisticated veneer. Many of Melbourne's children could not be cared for by their often impoverished families and were left to roam the streets.
Selena really founded the beginnings of the organisation that we know as Kildonan today. She was quite a mover and a shaker and was a missionary at Scots Church. The thing about the Scots Church organisation was it very quickly became the preeminent one. It actually had a huge number of children. In fact, in its first 10 years, they had over 1,000 children that they looked after. She was passionate about the plight of the poor. She understood the structural things that were impacting on the poor. So she understood the sort of systemic problems and challenged people on that as well. She's very orientated towards people, but also understood the political and was able to be a very strong advocate. She certainly had a meeting with Alfred Deakin before the 1887 Neglected Children's Act was even instituted, and she really argued very strongly that individual and private people be allowed to pick destitute children up off the street. She actually was told by the church to go into Little Burke Street and Little Collins Street and actually pick up these children, and also to help the fathers and mothers as well. So there was an aspect of nursing as well as looking after children who either didn't have a parent or had a very ill parent. And Alfred Deakin did honour her, and he let her be the first person under the 1887 Act to be able to go and collect neglected children. And I think Kildonan is the same today. It's that ground level work where you see the need and you respond accordingly. So,
from Selena Sutherland's initial wish to care for the neglected and forgotten children of Melbourne, an organisation of hope and faith has grown. In the years following 1881, Selena's dream and vision has developed into a significant force in the Melbourne area.
The overall mission is about building thriving communities and addressing issues to do with inequality and disadvantage, and ensuring that people have access to fully participate in their life and in society, and giving them the opportunities to do that. We have a long history of community services and working with families and children and young people. Today we not only provide direct service delivery, but we are also in the business of advocating for individuals and families and working on broader systemic change for them. In Kildonan's history, we did that up front by being different and saying to the system, you don't have a process for children who are homeless, and looking at government policies to change that. Later on, in the 50s and 60s, we developed family group homes. That had not been done before. That was a new thing that happened for its time. In our family services programs, we were one of the first agencies to take on board the Families First program that looked at working intensively with families, at preventing the removal of children from families, and also reunifying families as well. In 2000, we started working with corporates and getting them into the picture by saying, hey, you're part of this. If we're going to rebuild a sustainable and vibrant community in the future, you've got to be around the table, along with government, along with other community services organisations.
The infernos that have engulfed a large part of southern Australia continue to burn.
The thing about this fire is just how quickly it's moving. The wind here is unbelievably
worst fears have been
strong.
realised today, with wild winds whipping up dozens of fires around the state.
Panicked residents had little or no warning. The Santos
Dead after Victoria burned overnight.
Kinglake just basically exploded within minutes, literally minutes. The whole of Kinglake was aflame.
I'm from Kinglake West, and my son and I were up there on the day fighting the fires. From the Kildonan perspective, I guess it was really nice to have a face to the name. You know, there might have been a crowd of 600 people, and there was Stella with a team behind her. Every time we needed some support, there was Kildonan, and it brings a tear to my eye even today thinking of that, because we were never on our own. We were let down by a lot of people, and we were let down by a lot of organisations, and we were let down by a lot of political structures as well. However, there was a face to that organisation. Irrelevant of what event we needed, Kildonan were there to say whatever you need we'll bring and we'll create.
From being involved with Kildonan as a mentor, overnight literally I became a beneficiary. And it started when I was obviously in the fire. I was in Kinglake West with my family, and we had only a few minutes to prepare, and we basically lost everything, and we were burnt, and we were traumatised, and we came off the mountain. I will never forget those first moments when we came into Whittlesea, and not only was it the first agency, but it was the first people, the first recognisable faces were the team from Kildonan. And I'll be honest, that's when I broke down. Kildonan became very proactive in responding to not only myself, but also the community. I'm just absolutely in awe of how they conduct themselves in these communities that have been damaged and distressed, and that speaks volumes, I think. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
I manage the Bushfire Services program, and that incorporates the case management program as well as the counselling program. And Kildonan for me, it's given me the flexibility and the creativity to actually come up with new programs. Stella's given me a lot of autonomy, and we do the talk, but we also actually are quite active and grassroots driven, and we deliver on what we actually say we're going to do, and that's the beauty of Kildonan, and it's reflected on all the programs that we run.
My brief to myself is to endeavour to support the bushfire survivors up to a stage where they were pre-fire. Sue Fraser and I were lucky in Kinglake initially because Sue identified that the CFA workers themselves up here were doing everything for everybody else and not themselves, and I was lucky enough to do a couple of small things for the CFA workers to get them back on track, but then word of mouth got out that there was someone in the town that could actually help support them through some of the things, and we've been able to generate a lot of interest in the Bushfire Financial Counselling program here. And the biggest thing that I find from people that come in to see me is that they say initially Kildonan acted and responded in an appropriate way, and we're still doing that.
No acknowledgement of Kildonan's ongoing strength and success would be complete without mention of the extraordinary support it gets from its corporate sponsors and partners, be that direct financial support, in-kind support, donation or bequest. In addition to the ongoing support from our corporate partners, we must also take time to acknowledge the professional and selfless dedication of our board of directors. Dr. Kay Stevens, Ms. Kate Long, Dr. Ray Dawson, Mr. Neville John, and their fellow board members, Mr. Bruce Anderson, Mr. Neil Bell, Mr. Peter Boyle, Ms. Carolyn Fryer, Ms. Nerita Hall, and Dr. Ian Patrick.
Kildonan runs a range of programs that in effect wrap around families, and that's what we talk about holistic care and services for families. So part of that is direct service delivery, where we provide counselling, casework, support schemes for individuals and families. The other part of the work we do is partnerships with community service organisations and with corporate service organisations, where we're looking to corporates and saying to them, you know what, your customer and our customer are actually the same customer. And if we both work collaboratively around how to build better outcomes for them, then you'll have a customer for life and we'll have healthy individuals that can participate in the community.